And we say good morning to you. She's not Joe Vento, and she's not Heather Miller yet. I'm Tom Taylor. Welcome to Tom Taylor Sports Show. We're live here again at Chick-Fil-A The Crossings in North Johnson City on a beautiful Wednesday. Wednesday's a Chick-fil-A day. We're, of course, it's hump day, over the hump and through the woods to a wonderful weekend we go. Again, we're live here with show number 607, and the countdown to Christmas, if you care, and most don't, but we're down to 81 days till Christmas. How about that? I bet Heather's already got her stuff done and ready to go.
I've already been watching the movies and eating all the stuff.
Hallmark movies?
Yes.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I love it. So
I start in September.
We still have our trees up. We keep a tree up year round. So,
really?
oh, yeah. We love it. For me, Christmas, every day of the year is Christmas.
Yeah.
That's what I look
If
at
you
it.
really believe.
Yes, if you really believe. Where's my bell? We need to hit the bell to get it started here. I wanted to... Oh, hang on. If you really believe, go ahead and hit it. I like it. There you go, if you really believe. So let's get it started. We always dedicate our show to the man who hung on the cross. Unashamedly, today's verse is out of the book of Numbers, 6:24 through 27 says, I will bless you, and I will keep you. I will make my face to shine upon you. I will turn my face towards you and give you peace. There you go. How about that? I will bless you and keep you. I will make my face to shine upon you. Isn't that pretty cool when the Lord's face is going to shine upon you? I love that. I will turn my face towards you and give you peace. And so, in a crazy world we live in, it's nice to know where we can get peace. It's from the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. So we're here ready to go. We got folks lined up and ready to go. We'll be joined by Jeff Birchfield coming up at the bottom of the hour talking Muddy Creek Raceway motorcycling this weekend and a big weekend of NASCAR heading off to Charlotte. We'll also talk to our buddy Greg Salyer with Major League Baseball update coming up a little bit later on the show. And also Joe Vento stops by. He, of course, covers East Tennessee State sports for the Johnson City Press, and so Joe will be by to talk about homecoming, and basketball practice has started at East Tennessee State, so lots going on. We'll talk to Joe Vento from the Johnson City Press coming up in a little while, but boom, there we go. She's ready. She's our buddy Heather Miller from Chick-Fil-A, or as the little one says, the Chicken Coop. So good morning. How are you doing?
Good. How are you today?
Good. Look at her. She has the nicest smile, and that just got that wholesome look like the girl next door, and so Heather is working right here at Chick-fil-A, working hard to Alvin Barrister. That's good. So what do you want to talk about today, Miss Heather?
Today we're going to talk about our tortilla soup is back and our Yeti bucket drawing contest. So we have this lovely Tiffany blue Yeti bucket over there that you cannot see, but
It's here.
It's here, I promise. So you put in a dine-in or mobile order during breakfast and you'll get a chance to win the Yeti bucket. You'll be put in the drawing.
Yeah.
So
No purchase necessary. Just come by and register, and away we go. A Yeti bucket. So get a chance to win it. When are we giving it away? Do we know? A bit later on.
I think it's at possibly the end of the month.
End of the month. A Yeti bucket. I'll play. What's a Yeti bucket?
It's a very fancy high-tech bucket.
Fancy hot.
If you know what a Yeti cup is, you know how it keeps everything cold or hot.
No, ma'am. I'm country. I'm sorry, but I get it. Yeti keeps things hot or cold.
Both.
Yeah. So this is a Yeti bucket. Come by and try and win. Again, right here at Chick-fil-A The Crossings, North Johnson City. Also, you said you want to talk about the soup's back, a new soup's back.
Yep, our
old
tortilla
soup
soup.
back.
Our tortilla soup is back for the season.
Yep. So describe the tortilla soup.
To me, it's very spicy, but it's super creamy. It's almost kind of like a bisque. I don't know really,
Bisque,
you know it.
yeah.
Bisque. Okay. And then you've got your chicken in it and crumpled tortilla strips on top.
Awesome.
So it's really good, really warms you up on a cold day.
It's got a little kick to it.
Yeah, a little bit, not too much,
Not too
but
much, but a little bit of a kick.
it'll clear up the sinuses.
It'll clean your pipes out. A chicken tortilla soup back again for the fall and winter season again here at Chick-fil-A. And then we always, before I let you go, we always want to talk about the new breakfast items. Got two new ones, and the bowl, and well, I'll let you tell us the two new breakfast items.
The hash brown scramble bowl and the hash brown scramble burrito.
Tell me all about it.
The hash brown scramble bowl is again just our hash browns, scrambled egg, cheese, and your choice of chicken, regular chicken or sausage in a bowl. And then for the burrito, it's the exact same thing but wrapped in a burrito.
Awesome. Now, it's football season, obviously, right almost to the halfway point in college and past the halfway point in high school. Point being, folks want to watch the big game on Saturday or Sunday. They need a tray. Tell me how we can get a tray and what are some of the tray options we can get here at Chick-fil-A.
Well, you just call us, email, or come in the store and put in your order. We have nugget trays ranging from small to large. We have fruit trays, cookie trays, strip trays, all ranging from small to large. Come with your choice of 8-ounce sauce. Any other sauces extra are going to be extra charge. But
how long does it take to whip up a tray?
We would prefer you to call at least an hour in advance so that we can get it ready for you.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. Like that, I didn't realize it was going to be that quick. I figured it'd take longer because usually in here, this place is rocking, and it will be here in just a moment too, the old lunch crowd. So to say you can get it done in an hour, that really tells me you don't mess around. You get after it, don't they?
Nope. Yep.
What's the most popular tray? I mean, when you take orders, what seems to be the one folks want a lot of?
Nuggets.
Nugget tray?
Yeah.
All the way.
Yep.
Nugget trays, yep. I like the fruit tray. I think it's awesome too. So it's all good. It's all right here at the Chick-Fil-A The Crossings in North Johnson City. And then put in a dine-in or mobile order. Tell me about that.
Again, that's for the Yeti bucket drawing. Just put in a dine-in or mobile order during breakfast, and you'll get a chance to be put in the drawing for the Yeti bucket.
Yeti bucket. There you go. Just that easy and just that simple. I know Mr. Birchfield said he awaits you, so he said time to roll. He's all excited because his Cowboys lost. That's right. Forgot they got beat, didn't they? They lost to the Rams. Oh, then he's not. Yes, he had to remind me of that. So anyway, you are ready to go.
I am. Duty calls.
Duty calls.
Always at the Chick-Fil-A.
Oh yeah, she's awesome. We appreciate her very much. And hang on here just a second, and let's see, where is it? Let's see, let's hit this right here. There we go, and boom. There we go. We are here live at Chick-Fil-A The Crossings in North Johnson City. Excuse me, got a frog, and I apologize for that. We're here again. Thanks for being with us, and it's the Tom Taylor Sports Show, show number 607. And so we're here again at the Chicken Coop, as we call it. Chick-fil-A, love being here and love hanging out with Connie and, of course, the owner, Tim Birchfield, and Tracy's here today, and Judy's here today, and Megan's here today, and Amy's here today, and JT's here, and working hard, drive through, not busy yet, but it will be, because it's just, as the old song goes, it's just a matter of time. We'll take a break, we'll come back, we'll take a look at high school football, we'll take a look at also some volleyball from last night on the local scene, so volleyball tournament time, and also some soccer. And also, we'll take a look at some high school football. Big week coming up. High school football Friday night. There's some big games. Everything inside the conferences now. As we we're hard to believe we've reached the halfway point of the regular season here in Northeast Tennessee and beginning to head down the home stretch. And the playoff picture's starting to firm up a little bit. We'll take a look at who's playing where and all the information you need for high school football, and also the volleyball tournament play. The state golf tournament's going on down in Middle Tennessee. How's our local youngsters faring in that? All that coming up after this break. We're live here at Chick-fil-A The Crossings in North Johnson City on show number 607, brought to you by Grip Energy Drink. Love drinking me some Grip. I was wolfing down some root beer last night and some pineapple at the old homestead, and it's good stuff. I love the Grip Energy Drink, and no taurine in it. That's what I like. So, Grip Energy Drink. In fact, we've got, excuse me, I need a grip right now, as a matter of fact. Lemon, lime, pineapple, white grape, pink grapefruit, and root beer at 125 milligrams of caffeine per bottle. That's it. Also excited to unveil their new sugar-free line, the Ultra Orange. The pink grapefruit's been out a while at only 5 calories. And, of course, what sets it apart from other popular energy drinks, Grip, the only energy drink that uses real sugar and stevia, no high fructose corn syrup like the competition. Grip Energy Drink, they've incorporated glucosamine, folic acid, biotin, natural flavors, colors, along with a vitamin combination that enhances the natural caffeine and no taurine, as we say, which is what makes you, that's what gives you the jitters and gives you the shakes and whatever the other ones do. This one does not. Grip Energy Drink. Gluten-free, vegan-friendly, and kosher certified. The only functional bottle with the design over cap allows the consumer to reseal it. You can drink it for a while. I do this all the time. Take 2 or 3 gulps or sips and whatever. And as I'm driving down the road, when I drove to West Virginia on Monday, I was drinking me some Grip going up and drinking me some Grip coming back just when I needed it. I'd pop it open and give it a drink. And, of course, you can carry it hands-free if you want to as well. Grip Energy Drink, available at all food cities. And we appreciate them being our title sponsor of the Tom Taylor Sports Show, show number 607. And again, hello to folks at Grip, they're going to be joining us on Friday. We'll be live at Food City on Euclid Avenue in Bristol, and the folks from Grip are in town. The big boys are here, and we'll get a chance to meet them. We're looking forward to doing that. Quick break. We'll be right back. We'll talk high school football next right here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Show number 607 at Chick-Fil-A, brought to you by Grip Energy Drink.
At American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the things that owner Tim Smith is most proud of is their hard-earned certifications.
We are an ASE Blue Seal shop, which is important because what it tells the customer is we care enough to get certified, not in one certain area of cars. You have to be certified in 8 different certifications, in 8 different tests you have to take, and you have to be updated on them yearly to make sure that you're up to date. We not only have one of those, we have 3 ASE Master Technicians here. With the ratio, goes into a ratio, and we're a Blue Seal shop, so it tells you that we care about training and we care about knowing about your car. We want to help fix it right.
American Import and Auto Repair, West Market Street, Johnson City, home of the free loaner car program. Open 6 days a week. Call today, 913-3111.
Hi, I'm Rob Cole with Bays Mountain Park. There's something for everyone at Bays Mountain Park. Whether you're an outdoor enthusiast or simply looking to get away and relax, Bays Mountain Park in Kingsport, Tennessee is the perfect destination. For only $4 per vehicle, enjoy 3,500 acres of breathtaking scenery, featuring 40 miles of hiking trails, wildlife habitat, one of the Southeast's premier planetariums, and much, much more. For more information, please visit www.baysmountain.com or call us at 423-229-9447. Bays Mountain Park, one of the Tri-City's best places for learning, leisure, and recreation.
If you're catching some waves or just playing in the yard, it is important to protect yourself. You may not feel the sun's heat, but UV rays can still damage your skin even in cloudy weather. Blue Lizard Sunscreen, recommended by pharmacists and dermatologists nationwide. Our SPF 30-plus formulations use only the highest quality ingredients for broad spectrum protection. As a reminder to protect yourself, our bottle turns blue when UV light is present. Blue Lizard, we've got you covered.
Your life is always changing. You never know what shape it will take, or how your financial needs might change. But if we talk about your investments and how they can provide for you and your family, the future becomes clear. At Wells Fargo Advisors, we believe conversation leads to financial clarity. Let's start a conversation today.
Back with the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Let's run down volleyball from last night at tournament time, of course, in East Tennessee. And here we go. It was the AA tournament at Sullivan South. South defeating East. Elizabeth defeated Chucky Doe from the AA tournament. AAA tournament, Science Hill upends Dobbins Middle in their home court. Tennessee High defeated Volunteer. In the District 2 AAA tournament, the ladies from Morristown West defeated Cherokee. Jeff County's Lady Patriots defeated Cock County. In the District 2 AA tournament championship, Greenville's ladies defeated Seymour in the AA volleyball tournament championship. In Southwest Virginia, not tournament, regular season, Eastside defeated J.I. Burden. Union defeated John Battle. Rycove's Lady War Eagles defeated Castlewood. Abington's Lady Falcons over Y Central. Lee defeated Ridgeview High. Virginia High's Lady Bearcats defeated Graham in Bluefield, Virginia. And girls high school volleyball. Today, the tournament continues. The District 1 AAA tournament at Dobbins Minute. At 5 o'clock, the elimination game. Dobbins Minute takes on Volunteer, and that winner will move on and stay alive. The second game has the number 1 seed Dobbins Minute taking on the number 3 seed Volunteer in game 1 at 5 o'clock at DB. Game 2, number 5 Science Hill, the Lady Hilltoppers, taking on the number 2 Tennessee High Lady Vikings at 6:30. That's in the winner's bracket. That, of course, as we said, all that going on at Dobbins Minute. The AA tournament picks back up tomorrow, so we'll tell you more about that tomorrow when we get into the Thursday show from Champion Chevrolet. And the TSSAA Division I Large School Golf Tournament at Willowbrook Golf Club in Manchester, Tennessee. Knox Halls is your leader right now. Science Hill, the team runner-up a year ago, currently heading into day 2 in 5th place. The number 1 individual from our region, Jet Tickle from Tennessee High, sitting at 14th as they start again today. Stephen Owen is at, actually, I told you wrong. He is tied for, no, let me back up. Jet Tickle's tied for 4th in the state. My apology. Jet Tickle tied for 4th. Stephen Owen of Cherokee tied for 11th in the state right now. Sean Anderson, Science Hill, 22nd. Carter Count, Science Hill, 27th. Jackson Skeen of Science Hill, 41st. And Gavin Nichols of Science Hill, 55th right now. We start round 2 or day 2 of the golf tournament, again going on, the state golf tournament, obviously, in Manchester, Tennessee at the Willowbrook Golf Club. All right, and let's see. On the ladies' side, let's see who's doing well. The girls, Memphis, Houston, number 1 right now. Cock County from our region, currently 1, 2, 3, 5th in the state right now, the ladies of Cock County. Individually, you have Kara Carter from Sullivan South, tied for 10th going into day 2 of the tournament. We also have Isabella Vanderbeest, or Beist, I guess it's Beist or Beast, B-I-E-S-T. And if I mispronounce it, I apologize. Connie, how would you say B-I-E-S-T? Beist or Beast? She's the marketing lady, Isabella Vanderbeest from Dobbins Minute, tied for 11th in the state right now. And soccer from yesterday, Daniel Boone's ladies beat Crockett 5-3. Dobbins Minute shuts out Sullivan South 8-0. Sullivan Central's ladies beat University High 3-2. And Science Hill's Lady Hilltoppers blank Tennessee High 5-0 in girls high school soccer from yesterday. Let's take a look at high school football. The polls this week again are out. As we told you earlier in the week, I always like to recap those and give these kids a proper credit because the statewide poll is pretty impressive. 6A, Murfreesboro, Oakland, number 1. Science Hill, honorable mention this week. 5A football, Beach, number 1. Daniel Boone, the Trailblazers, in at number 9. 4A football, Greenville, number 1. The Elizabethton Cyclones in at number 4 in the state. By the way, we were there last night. If you watched it or heard it, I don't guess you watch it, but you hear the audio. It's out there to archive. You can go back and watch it. Duggar completes an undefeated regular season conference championship. Finishes 7-0 in the conference, 7-1 of the season. Their only loss was to Knox Fulton early in the season, a non-conference game. They ran through the conference like hot knife through butter. I mean, they dominated, and last night they did much the same again to a good Vance team. They got a couple of kids on that team going to be good for Tennessee High that I could tell. But anyway, beat them 44-14. Big time win last night. Big crowd. Some of the smaller high schools couldn't rival the crowd that Duggar had last night in Elizabeth. The band played. Beautiful evening for football. I was helped by Doug Hartley from Hunter Memorial Baptist. I was helped by Steve McCauley from the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Had 3 of the players stop by last night. Carter Everett, Cujo Coleman, and Ryan Wetzel, 3 of the big guns for the Elizabethton varsity football team came by. So great night last night. Thank you to all the nice comments we've gotten about the broadcast, and so very nice. And so the Duggar Cyclones finish undefeated for the first time since back in the 90s when a couple of Witten boys played back then named Sean and Jason. Pretty cool stuff. 3A football, Alcoa number 1, Johnson County at number 3. 2A football, Meigs County number 1 of the state this week. Happy Valley from our neck of the woods in at number 9. And single A football, South Pittsburgh number 1. And the Cloudland Highlanders, excuse me, are in at number 9 this week in the latest high school football polls. Here are the standings. In Region 1 6A, Knox Farragut 3-0, Hardin Valley 2-0. They're the top 2 teams. Science Hill 2-1, Dobbins Minute from our neck of the woods at 1-1. 5A football, Crockett and Daniel Boone both on top at 2-0. In Region 1 4A football, Sullivan South at 3-0, Elizabethton at 2-0, Greenville at 2-0. That's the top 3 in 4A. And Region 1 3A, Johnson County and Unicoi County both at 3-0. And Region 1 2A, Sullivan North at 3-0, Happy Valley at 2-0. And in Region 1 1A, Cloudland and Jellicoe are undefeated on top of the conference at 2-0. Here are the games this week in no particular order. Right down the road here in Johnson City, Science Hill back home to battle the Hardin Valley Hawks, which is a huge football game. We'll talk to Stacy Carter later on this week. You got to win that one to keep pace to have a home first game in the playoffs. Again, they'll take the top 4 in the conference, each conference. The top 2, seeds 1 and 2 will stay at home and play. Seeds 3 and 4 will go on the road. And so right now, Science Hill's on the bubble to be traveling, as is Dobbins Minute. Dobbins Minute playing host to Farragut, again number 3 in the state. And again, they've won 19 in a row. So Hardin Valley at Science Hill. Farragut at Dobbins Minute. Moorestown West will be at Jeff County Friday night. Crockett, the Pioneers in Rogersville to battle Cherokee. Volunteer Daniel Boone. Cock County will be at the Stone Castle to play Tennessee High. Sullivan South gets their turn at Greenville in Greenville. Elizabethton will be at Union County. Sullivan Central, the Cougars on the road at Sullivan East. Also, you have Granger at Chucky Doak to battle the Black Knights. Johnson County at Happy Valley, a couple of ranked teams. Johnson County number 3 in 3A. Happy Valley number 9 and 2A will square off at Happy Valley Friday night. West Green and Ox Catholic. Unaka plays at Unicoi County. North Green and South Green. Cloudland at Hampton. Cosby at Concord Christian. And Hancock County plays at Thomas Walker, Virginia. That's what's going on high school football again in Tennessee now. Excuse me, in Virginia. East side at Rye Cove. Hancock County at Thomas Walker, as we said. Honecker will be at J.I. Burton. John battled the Trojans at Y Central. Gate City still yet to win a football game, which is really hard to believe because they've been so tradition-rich through the years. Gate City home to Marion on Friday night. Twin Springs at Castlewood. Union at Lehigh. Virginia High will be in Abington to battle the Falcons. And that's looking high school football, volleyball, golf, and soccer to this point here again on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Before we go to the break, this is a hunting story of sorts. And so raccoon rabies bait to be distributed here in the region. It's a very serious thing. Again, if you know, and I think you know that, it's most common in wild animals in Tennessee, poses a risk to people and domestic animals that come in contact with wildlife. Important to make sure pet owners, whether you have an indoor pet or outdoor pet, make sure rabies vaccinations are current for dogs and cats to ensure their health and safety, and to help to provide a barrier between rabies and wild animals and humans. So again, they're going to be doing raccoon rabies drops by airplane and helicopter in the next couple of weeks. Carter County, Greene County, Hawkins County, Sullivan County, Unicoi County, and Washington County. In all, 18 counties here in Tennessee are in the bait zone. They'll be starting next week, the week of the 13th. The oral rabies the vaccines will be distributed in Northeast Tennessee beginning next week of October the 13th. So, again, as you know, there is no cure for rabies. If you're bitten as a human by a rabid animal, which would be your pet is bit by a rabid animal and takes it inside or takes it onto your property and you end up getting bit by a rabid animal, there is no known cure. So it's serious stuff. Rabies, most common in wild animals here in Tennessee. It does pose a risk to people and domestic animals that come in contact with wildlife. So, again, make sure your dogs and cats are current with the rabies vaccinations to ensure their health and safety and to help provide a barrier between rabies and wild animals and humans. Also extremely important that people don't transport raccoons from one area of the state to another. So if you have a raccoon in your backyard, in your back porch, in your garage, whatever, don't take it upon yourself. Call the Wildlife Resources Agency toll-free rabies line at 866-487-3297. 866-487-3297. Serious stuff. And so they're going to be doing drop rabies bait drops by helicopter and airplane starting next week in 18 counties here in Tennessee. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. We will get ready to talk to our buddy Jeff Birchfield, due to join us coming up next. We're live at Chick-Fil-A at the Crossings in North Johnson City on this Wednesday, brought to you by Grip Energy Drink. You're dialed into show number 607. Very proud of that, of the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at fca.org.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City takes care of both male and female customers, but owner Kim Smith says they have a special care and concern for ladies.
Being a female in what's considered a man's business, I understand the trepidation that women may have when they come to the shop. They feel like they don't know about cars, they might be intimidated, but that's not the way we do business. Everybody's treated the same. We take the time to explain anything that they have questions about, the repair, the process, the part. We want to make sure people are comfortable with what we're going to do to their vehicle and that they understand. We do cater to women in a sense. We have a real nice waiting room with nice Keurig coffee and flavored creamers, air-conditioned, cushioned seats, TV, everything a girl could want while she waits for her car to be fixed.
American Import Auto Repair in Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111.
It's Friday night at 7 o'clock. You've been involved in a car accident. You may be out of state on vacation or just a few miles from home. What do? Who do you call? At Farmers Insurance Group, one call is all you have to make. Hello, this is Jim Klein, an agent with Farmers Insurance. It's called One and Done. You don't have to wait till Monday morning to file a claim. You can make the initial call and we'll begin right away to help you. We assist you in moving the vehicle to a certified repair shop, getting you set up with rental car, and informing your agent. Then here at the staff at Jim Klein Farmers Insurance, we follow the claim through to the end. It's that easy. One and Done. We're your one and done location for all your insurance needs. Auto, home, life, commercial, workers' comp, and bonds. We can help you with all your insurance needs. Give me a call today, Jim Klein Farmers Insurance at 247-5400. Your one and done location in Kingsport, 247-5400.
Any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-Fil-A. Over 10 to choose from. Perfect for having the gang over to watch the big game, birthday parties, church get-togethers, backyard gatherings, everything from fruit trays to garden salad trays to nuggets and chicken strip trays. And for the sweet tooth, try the cinnamon cluster or chocolate chunk cookie tray. So you see, any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-Fil-A. Chick-Fil-A at the Crossings in North Johnson City.
Back on the Tom Douglas Sports Show. No, I'm not Jeff Birchfield. We're live here again at Chick-Fil-A The Crossings in North Johnson City. We love coming over here on this, our 607th show. And boom, there's my man, Birchfield. How you doing, Big Daddy?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
When was the last time somebody called you Big Daddy? It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, but at least 2 or 3 days.
Kind of embarrassed myself, really. So, anyway, we're here live at Chick-Fil-A The Crossings in North Johnson City. Let me show you this article. This guy... I'm going to do terrible, but here we go. Muddy Creek Prime for the 30th Top Gun Showdown this week. Muddy Creek Motorcycle Raceway in behind the airport here in the Tri-Cities and bringing a lot of folks to town. Tell me about it.
Yeah, it's a pretty big event. The Top Gun Showdown's, one of the oldest events in this area. Plus, it's one of the most prestigious races in all the Southeast. Have a ton of classes, amateur classes, but then they have the 450 and 250 pros, the same as, like when they have the National Series here in June. And, of course, Mike Brown, he's a guy from Johnson City, lives now in Bluff City, but he's actually, going to be in town racing. And Mike's, been a champion all over the world. He's won X Games gold medals. He's been an enduro cross champion as well as a motocross champion. So a huge event,
Trying to get her attention, get you a tea, because my man's parched. Again, we're live here at Chick-Fil-A The Crossings in North Johnson City. So this brings in a lot of folks' tourism dollar, obviously. You get folks who are staying in town, hotels, restaurants like Chick-fil-A, putting gas in the vehicle, so it drives the tourism dollar too, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, with this event, there's probably a little more camping than there is, actually hotels, but there are some hotel rooms, obviously, with this event. And then, like you said, obviously they're buying gas and food and all that stuff here, while they're in the area as well. So
you took a look at the kid that's local, Mike Brown. Is he a young man or is he an older man?
I was going to say, that's funny when you say kid, because Mike's actually like my age. He's like in his late 40s. But that's the cool thing about him, is he's still been a champion when most of your average motocross champions are like in their mid-20s, So he's just a phenomenal story, all he's been able to accomplish and still be able to accomplish. So, but,
Miss Lisa?
Also,
there you go.
But also in there, besides, Muddy Creek, I mean, we mentioned the Hot Summer Nights series, that been going on at the Appalachian Fairgrounds, some more of our local racers, and then Volunteers Speedway has a big dirt track race down there if you like four-wheel dirt track late model racing, this weekend. And then got a little bit about the big bracket race they had at Bristol Dragway this past weekend as well.
Don and Jeff Birchfield, we're live again here at Chick-Fil-A, the Crossings in North Johnson City here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show again on this Wednesday. And love having this guy in. He does a phenomenal job. So this is a big fan favorite. I mean, a lot of folks obviously didn't have the magnitude of Bristol Motor Speedway here in our area or even the Dragway, but still, it's pretty popular. It's going to be great weather this weekend, and it really brings out a lot of the local folks, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, there's racing, both on Saturday and Sunday, plus there's a test in June day on which is basically a practice day on Friday. So yeah, I mean, it does brings a lot of people out, riding and stuff. And I was talking about having that hot summer nights in there. Some of those kids will be out there at Muddy Creek as well, so I was going to say, there's an amazing amount of talent around here as far as younger generation coming up, including Zach Osborne from Abbott, who's now a big star on the AMA Pro motocross circuit.
So of course, we got NASCAR, we got the NHRA. So in motorcycle terms, someone out there that's not quite up to speed, what is AMA the big series?
Well, AMA is, it's probably more popular in the wintertime when they do the Supercross series, but the same riders that race at Muddy Creek in the AMA motocross also race, in Supercross. You have guys like Ryan Dungey, and in the past guys like Ryan Villapoto and, Jeremy McGrath and all these big names and stuff. So yeah, it's, huge. I mean, it is sort of the top level of motocross racing.
See on the screen with our buddy Jeff Birchfield. We're with Johnson City Press. We're live here again at Chick-Fil-A, the Crossings in North Johnson City. Tomorrow will be at Champion Chevrolet. Friday will be at Food City in Bristol, Euclid Avenue. Broadcasting live from there at Food City Friday. So before we get into the big boys, the Cup and the Xfinity and the Truck Series, on the local tracks, Kingsport Speedway is gone for the year. I think they're done. They're wrapped up. Lonesome Final Things wrapped up. So are there any of the Circle dirt tracks or anybody else running right now this time of year?
Yeah, I was mentioning Volunteers Speedway. They have like a 5-division program this Saturday night. And if you've never been down there, I mean, it's a fantastic show and stuff if you like dirt track racing.
They get after it too, don't they?
They do. They get after each other sometimes too.
If you like to eat does, man, that's the place to go. So,
it is. I mean, I love myself growing up. I've always loved watching like a dirt late model or a sprint car or whatever slide around those high banks. So that's always a sight to behold.
We're talking to our buddy Jeff Birchfield. On a sad note, we switch into NASCAR. We lose a good guy, master engine builder, and former team owner Robert Yates. We lose him to cancer at the age of 74, and pretty tough. I know he got a chance to get into the Hall of Fame. That was something he was really looking forward to, and he got a chance to do that before he passed away, but we lost him at 74.
Yeah, and Robert Yates, he's best known as a great car owner for Davey Allison, Dale Jarrett. Won 3 Daytona 500s, as a car owner. Won the 1999 championship with Dale Jarrett. But before that, he grew up, he was part of that Holman Moody powerhouse back in the day. And then I always remember him. I was a big Bobby Allison fan growing up. He was the engine builder on Bobby's car. Won the 1983 Winston Cup Championship. And then he also worked a little bit with Richard Petty. He actually built the motors for Richard Petty's car that won that 200th race at Daytona in 1984.
Talking to Jeff Birchfield again from the Johnson City Press, the NASCAR. There's my buddy Gary Hicks over there. I ain't seen him in a coon's age. It's a nice one right there. Old Gary Hicks used to live beside him back in the day. Again, we're talking NASCAR. The 2018 car, they announced it yesterday, some changes. I think the radiator is going to be changed. They've done some different things. The camera up underneath, they're going to leave it on so it'll stay on the whole time, not just during the impact of a crash. That's off the top of my head, but 2018 car going forward, NASCAR making some changes. Good or bad, do you think?
Well, I mean, they're always trying to change for the good. I mean, one thing they've struggled with the last 10 years that they've been trying to correct is, with the aero push when cars are racing with each other. So, they're always working on that, trying to make it better. Just subtle changes to the body.
Yep. So we're going to get into NASCAR some more, and also he's been covering some college football for the Johnson City Press. You down at Furman last week?
I was down in Furman last week. So, the Bucks, I mean, they, had a tough time stopping Furman's offense. But on the other hand, Austin Henrik had the record-setting day, threw for 434 4 yards, and the Bucks actually were still back in the game in the fourth quarter, and then Furman took the onside kick and raced it back down to the end zone, sort of put an end to their comeback.
To use an old coaching line, I guess, this team's coming, aren't they?
They are. I mean, and they won against Mercer 2 weeks ago, a big overtime victory. I'm going to pick them. I'll go ahead and I guess preview my pick a little bit, but I am going to pick them to beat Robert Morris here at homecoming this weekend. So, I think this team is. I mean, I think they're on their way.
Yeah, I do too. We're talking to our buddy Jeff Birchfield. We'll talk more about the Bucks and homecoming coming up against Robert Morris on Saturday. Looks like the weather's going to be great. Beautiful fall day in East Tennessee to get out and watch some football. The blue and gold of East Tennessee State University. All right, so we take a look. We're getting ready to head to Charlotte, the next round of 12 for the NASCAR Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series. No longer the Chase. They call it the playoffs, which I don't know. I thought Chase was okay, but they've changed that. Charlotte, Talladega, and Kansas. And speaking of Chase, boy, he let one get away Sunday at Dover, didn't he?
He did. I mean, he's frustrated. He's had 2 second-place finishes in the last 3 races, which is great. But, he was so close to getting that first win. But, he got beat by, in my opinion, the best driver in the business there, Kyle Busch.
Well, and what was neat, they asked Kyle Busch after the race, or maybe it was Monday. But anyway, they asked him post-Dover what he should have done. He said, well, if I was Chase Elliott, this is what I would have done to win this race. And I thought that was interesting because he kind of coached him through the media. This is, and then I thought that was kind of neat. He had Ryan Newman and Jeff Gordon have a little scrape up down in the pits, and what was that all about?
Well, it was because Ryan was still, racing for position, but Jeff was mad because he's part owner on Chase Elliott's car, and he felt like he's holding him up, and that's what allowed Kyle Busch, to catch him and eventually pass him for the win. Which Kyle Busch is probably the best driver, out there as far as working traffic like that. I mean he'll go high, low, do whatever he has to get around the slower cars.
Still talk about what he did to Bristol. I don't care what anybody says. A lot of folks don't like him, but as you said, you got to respect the way he can drive. He was, I can still remember up here in the PA calling the race in turns 3 and 4, in the turns, going whatever they were, 120 in the turns?
Yeah.
Splitting 2 guys in the turn, going in between them. One's high, one's low. He's not even down to the sticky stuff. And then one time he split 2 on 3 and 4, and then on the front stretch, there was another slower car. He slingshotted around him, so say what you want, the old boy can drive a car.
He can. I mean, he's got probably the best car control of anyone out there. There's some other, great guys behind the wheel. Obviously, Jimmy Johnson with 7 championships, and then Kyle Larson's, an amazing young talent. Grew up racing on all those dirt tracks across the country.
Coming up top of the hour, we'll talk to Greg Salyer, getting ready for Major League Baseball wild card game. It was the Yankees winning last night. We'll break that down for you at the top of the hour. Got some college football news. Of all things going on in Georgia, there's a quarterback controversy. I mean, they just come in and just dog whipped, if you will, the Tennessee Volunteers, everybody knows. Yet they get ready for Vanderbilt with that quarterback controversy. So we'll talk about that. Also, we got some other college football news as well. Let's take a look at the round of 12. Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Larson, of course, Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, Jimmy Johnson, Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott, Matt Kenseth, and Jamie McMurray. Any surprises there?
I thought Richard Childress Racing might get one car in there, but I mean, it's not a major surprise, any of them. Maybe Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is the guy advanced that I really didn't think would to this next round.
Charlotte, Talladega, Kansas, because we gave away tickets to the Charlotte races, and Renee McNeil from Elizabethton won tickets to the Bank of America 500 on Sunday. Charlotte, Talladega, Kansas. Kind of break those tracks down.
Well, Charlotte and Kansas are both 1.5 mile tracks, but they're quite a bit different. With Charlotte's, more of a high-speed track, where Kansas is a flatter track, and then Talladega's obviously the wild card, a restrictor plate track where anyone could win. And I mentioned Ricky Stenhouse Jr. I thought he was lucky to advance out of the first round, but wouldn't be a surprise at all to see him win in this round because he's won the last 2 restrictor plate races at Talladega and Daytona.
Now, they have talked about making part of the Charlotte course a road course. I know they went over and designed. Is this going to be a road course, or is this next year?
No, that's next year that goes into effect. Yeah, that'll throw a whole new element in it as well. They'll call that it'll be officially called a roval because it'll be part oval and part road course,
I'll say this every time I get you on here. Tell me why or what has to happen with the NASCAR gods to go, you know what? maybe Bristol don't want it. Maybe the Speedway. I don't know. I've never talked to Jerry and the folks. Maybe they don't want to move the race to be included in the playoffs. But I keep thinking, man, what a great wild card to bring Bristol Motor Speedway into the playoffs for the Cup Series and the Xfinity Series and the trucks for that matter. But do you ever see that happening?
I don't see it happening. I mean, the Bristol August race is just so popular. You know, one thing I think could possibly happen, but I still think it's a long shot because the drivers like the All-Star race being there at their home track of Charlotte. But I could see maybe one day they'll experiment and put the All-Star race at Bristol, which I think would be the perfect fit. I mean, that would be the perfect race for Bristol.
What if you would, and this is just setting everything off the top of my head, what if you moved the spring race to include it part of the playoff and have 2 races in the fall, kind of like they do Pocono, a couple of weeks apart? Does that work?
It would probably work. I mean, it would work great for Bristol, but I don't know for the series, if it would work, because they do have, I mean, even though Bristol's such a popular track, they do have, 22 other tracks that they also, have to take care of.
I'm a little selfish, though. I'd like to see Bristol involved in that because I think we just add a brand new element to the racing. Although Charlotte, Talladega, and Kansas is a pretty good threesome. Then you break it down to Martinsville, Texas, and Phoenix. Of course, the final weekend's down in the Homestead in Florida. That did suffer some minimal damage from, I guess that would have been, Irma came up through Florida. And so they are doing some cosmetic repairs. They're trying getting it ready. So that's the Monster Energy Series. Let's talk about the Xfinity Series. What's the latest on that one?
Well, I mean, Xfinity Series, they're right in the middle of their playoffs as well. You were talking, just to backtrack a little bit on those tracks. So I think next year when they do have that Roval at Charlotte, that'll add another element, which they are mixing tracks up a little bit. I know Indianapolis, is going to be the first race in the chase next year.
Xfinity Series, Justin Allgaier, your leader. Then comes William Byron, Elliott Sadler, Cole Custer, Daniel Hemrick, Brennan Poole, Matt Tift, Ryan Reed, Brendan Gaughan, Michael Annett, Blake Cook, and Jeremy Clements. In that order, they will race this weekend, I believe, in Charlotte. They will. The trucks are off. Oh, I know they are because give away tickets. Drive with the Cure 300. A young lady from West Virginia won. Caitlin Sturgill from Lenore, West Virginia won those tickets. So she'll go down on this Saturday and watch the Xfinity Series at Charlotte. Trucks are off this week. Trucks go Christopher Bell, Ben Rhodes, Matt Crafton, Johnny Sauter, Chase Briscoe, Austin Cindric, Kaz Gralla, and John Hunter Nemechek. So Xfinity Series, Truck Series, what do you think of those?
Well, with the Xfinity Series, one guy has impressed me a lot this year. He's still looking for his first win, but it's Daniel Hemrick. He's actually from Kannapolis, North Carolina, which a lot of NASCAR fans will recognize was the hometown of Dale Earnhardt. But, I mean, he's done a good job driving for Richard Childress this year. I still, you'd asked me maybe a week or so ago who I would pick as a favorite. I still feel like maybe William Byron, the young kid, who's moving up to the Cup Series next year. I think he'll eventually pull this thing out, although, you've got a lot of good competition right there for sure.
The silly season continues. Still no ride for Kenseth since we talked last week or 2 weeks ago when you were here. Still no ride for Danica. Still no ride for Kurt Busch officially, although I still think he's going to go to Stuart Haas, re-up. Now you've got Eric Camarola out there, and then Michael McDowell, who got replaced by Casey Kane's out there with no ride. So any movement, anything you're hearing?
I haven't heard a thing on any of those guys. I mean, I think they may have to do like Casey Kane did with some of those folks and take, some of the rides that maybe not as appealing as others.
Big youth movement. Again, we're talking to Jeff Birchfield of Johnson City Press, talking NASCAR. Obviously, a big youth movement. Is that good for the sport? Too many new names in there. Some of the old guard kind of get pushed to the side. Is that good? Not good? What do you think? With all these youngsters coming up, is it good for the sport?
I think it is. I was thinking about that earlier this week. Ironically, I was thinking about how really NASCAR's a lot like the NFL. You've got like a lot of the quarterbacks. Peyton Manning just retired. Tom Brady's coming to the end of his career, but you've got a lot of new exciting players coming in there, like Deshaun Watson plays for the Houston Texans. Played for Clemson last year. Comes in, just a really exciting player. And sort of the same thing NASCAR's going through. I think it would help. We've talked about Chase Elliott already has almost that fan base built in where he's Bill Elliott's son and, all that it would help if he was able to finally break through and win a race,
Totally off everything we were talking about, but the college basketball recruiting scandal, Adidas, Nike, Under Armour, coaches being fired, Patino's gone, other coaches have been fired, associate coaches. It's not over yet. This is the feds, this is the FBI, and so it's not the NCAA. This is a whole different animal. When the feds get in on you, it's a whole different gig, and so What's your take on the basketball scandal right now?
Well, I mean, I'm sure it'll be a lot more widespread, before it's over with. But I mean, it's a shame that it's happened and stuff. And I mean, it's people basically are taking advantage of the situation and all, and it's really no different than stealing any other way. I mean, you think about it.
Where are the parents when you get handed a check for $100,000? And these parents, these high school basketball players, they look the other way. I mean, nobody's come forward. In fact, Brian Bowen's parents said, "Yeah, we took the money. They've retained an attorney, so they can get him back on the basketball team at Louisville." I'm thinking something's wrong with this picture, because they conceded the money came to them, $100,000 for this kid to play at Louisville, but they don't have a problem there. They have a problem because they get kicked off the teams. They retained an attorney, get him back on the team.
Oh yeah.
Am I missing something, or is there something wrong with this whole picture?
I don't know. I mean, it's not just in basketball either. I mean, if people remember the Cam Newton scandal, with Auburn a few years ago, and his parents, I guess the thing is, they were ultimately never did get charged with anything, but and then you've had the scandal with Reggie Bush at USC, and his family ends up with a new home and all that. So it's widespread throughout those two sports. I mean, those are your two money sports in college athletics for sure. But that being said, I mean, college basketball is one of my favorite sports, and actually my favorite team I pull for in any sport is probably North Carolina basketball. That's probably my favorite team of all sports teams.
Not just because they won last year, you liked them anyway, right?
Oh no, I liked them. I guess the first year I can really remember, was 1977. Phil Ford was the point guard, and they went to the national championship game and lost to Marquette that year.
So you just didn't jump on the bandwagon. You've been a Tar Heel through and through.
No, and it's been great over the years. I can remember all the national championships. I remember the 1982. Michael Jordan hitting the shot to beat Georgetown, and then 93 with the Eric Montross and that team that beat Michigan, and then 2005, 2009, which, Carolina's had their own problems. They've had the academic scandal, over there as well.
I guess he's proved to me he is not just a fair weather fan. He goes way back. You remember a guy named Walter Davis?
Yeah, I sure do.
Charlie Scott?
Yeah, well, Charlie Scott's a little before my time, but I remember the name there.
I'll tell you where I'm coming from. So, Charlie Scott, way back in the day. So, yeah, the Carolina Tar Heels. Tennessee football. Butch Jones very much under the gun. A, is it deserved? B, do they need to make a move now, make the move at the end of the year, or leave Butch Jones alone? What do you think?
I think they need to make a move now, honestly. I mean, and, I've personal dealings I've had with Butch Jones, he's been very nice and all, and I think he's done a good job bringing the program back to this point. But the thing is, if you wait too long nowadays with the early recruiting, early signing, in December and all, I mean, then you get under the gun and stuff. And Tennessee, I'd like to see maybe this next coaching search where they're not going bottom of the barrel, so to speak, and getting another Derek Dooley or something like that,
So if you had the checkbook, you're the AD at University of Tennessee right now, you're in a bye week. He came out last night, I don't know if you saw this, he said, we're starting today, every position is open. There are no guaranteed starting spots for the South Carolina game. I don't know if that's trying to cover his tail. I don't know what he's doing, why he's doing that, but he said every position is up for grabs starting today. So
that should include coach as well.
If you're the AD, you got the checkbook. You're in a bye week right now. Do you ask Philip Fulmer to ride out the storm this year? He's already on staff. Do you go out and get somebody that's not coaching right now, a.k.a. Les Miles or a Stoops? Or, I'm asking you the question and answering it, so you got the checkbook. Who do you go get?
Well, typically what they'll do, and I mean, whether it's right or wrong, you have the coaching staff in place, so you would probably promote one of those guys like Bob Shoop, defensive coordinator, who's not really done a great job, but still that would probably be your best choice among the, current coaching staff. If I had the checkbook, I know everybody wants a big flashy name, but the guy I would really go after is Clemson's defensive coordinator, Brent Venables. You think about the job he's done. But I tell you, another guy a lot of people are excited about, with as one of the up-and-coming assistant coaches in the country. Everybody's like, oh, I wish Peyton had come back and coach. But Peyton's not been coaching. The one Tennessee former quarterback who has been coaching is T. Martin, and he's been working with the Sam Darnold kid out at Southern Cal, and I think he definitely deserves, a shot of at least I'd make him a good offer to come back as offensive coordinator, even if he wasn't, you know, the head coach.
But did I read where he got mad at Tennessee? He sent his kid to Southern Cal or someplace where he had a chance to recruit him to go to Tennessee, and he's in a tiff with somebody down there, and so he talked to me going in another direction. So
yeah, there was some bad feelings, you know, there for a few years between T and Tennessee, and I guess, you know, there still is, you know, to some degree.
Well, Les Miles, 64 years old. Stoops has been very adamant he's not interested in coming back, and he doesn't want to get into a rebuilding situation, which is what you would have. But see, the thinking process, you get rid of Butch Jones, and you come right back and you cycle through Dooley, Kiffin, then Dooley, and now here's Jones again. So a lot of folks are saying, okay, that sets the program back even more, because now you've got to go back out here and start all over new assistants. The recruiting war, you lose it. You lose in the recruiting war and so on and so forth. So I see that argument, but 41-0, 7 first downs in the game, worst loss in 112 years at home. I mean, something's got to give.
Well, and here's the reason that argument's flawed. I mean, it took Jim Harbaugh basically 2 years to bring Michigan back to relevance, and then Kirby Smart at Georgia's just in his second year, and I mean, you see what he's doing with that program. And it's not like Tennessee doesn't have the talent. I mean, the one thing Butch Jones has done well, I mean, he's done a great job recruiting. You know, he's had top 15 recruiting classes every year.
Gus Malzahn, Auburn, under the gun.
Kevin Sumlin down.
Texas A&M. Got Alabama this week. If he can beat them, that may save his bacon. Ed Orgeron under the gun since they lost to Troy. First time they've lost a non-conference game at LSU since 2000. 49 game string snap. Who's the other one? Butch, I guess. There's 4 of them out there dancing around already.
Yeah, and Mark Stoops at Kentucky, even though people have been happy with him, the way that Florida game ended, that didn't leave too good of a taste in their mouths either.
And they've already fired a coach. Texas El Paso's Sean Kugler
yeah,
stepped away, and Mike Price went in behind him too. So there's somebody got fired in the middle of the season, so it is possible. I'm not advocating Butch Jones. I mean, he hates somebody lose his job, but every day's a resume, and he ain't getting it done.
He's not, and if he loses his job, it's not quite like you or I losing our job. I think he's still going to make like $9.5 million. So I could, that wouldn't bother me too awful bad.
If he gets fired, he'll still be able to buy some chicken nuggets and a milkshake at Chick-Fil-A. He's getting a $9 million buyout, so which is incredible. And in closing, before I let you go, I know you're hungry, you want to eat. Explain to me, I've asked everybody who comes on this show, how does this work where you get paid more when you get fired than when he's currently making, what, $4.5 million?
Yeah.
If they fire the guy, he gets 9. Kevin Sumlin gets 10. Orgeron gets $12 million, they get rid of him. How do you get fired and make more money by leaving than you do for your job performance? I don't get that.
Well, it's a good job of those agents and lawyers, you know, that work with those coaches. I mean, because they have to pay them so many years under contract and all that. You know, that's where those buyouts, you know, come from. So, you know, that, you know, it is crazy that, like you said, you get paid more for getting fired. But, I mean, that happens in private sector as well. You know, I worked at a company where a guy, CEO, basically got fired, but, you know, he ended up coming out smelling like a rose, and he's already got another good job, you know.
There you go. All right, you hungry?
I am hungry for a few chicken nuggets. Be good.
Some nuggets here. His buyout, by the way, if we fire Birchfield from this job, from this show,
chicken nuggets for a year.
He just named his price. Chicken nuggets for a year. All right. Great job, man. I'm glad you're back from Florida. Does a wonderful job. Quick break. We'll be right back. We'll jump into some baseball with Greg Salyer coming up next. We're live at Chick-Fil-A show number 607. Brought to you by the good folks from Grip Energy Drink here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City takes care of both male and female customers, but owner Kim Smith says they have a special care and concern for ladies.
Being a female in what's considered a man's business, I understand the trepidation that women may have when they come to the shop. They feel like they don't know about cars, they might be intimidated, but that's not the way we do business. Everybody's treated the same. We take the time to explain anything that they have questions about, the repair, the process, the part. We want to make sure people are comfortable with what we're going to do to their vehicle and that they understand. We do cater to women in a sense. We have a real nice waiting room with nice Keurig coffee and flavored creamers, air-conditioned, cushioned seats, TV, everything a girl could want while she waits for her car to be fixed.
American Import Auto Repair in Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they treat thousands of patients each year dealing with diabetes and its effects. Diabetes overtaking our nation and leaving a path of destruction behind. Through wound care, office visits, and preventive care, they see most of the patients after a problem arises. Using diabetic footwear such as shoes and inserts, a great way to prevent or prolong skin breakdown and amputation. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they use only custom molds from patient mold inserts, which further ensure a great recovery, or better yet, prevents a wound from happening. They use custom molded shoes, bracing, custom inserts, and extra depth diabetic shoes to prevent wounds or other skin issues from beginning. Call today, 1-800-524-4447. 39 years, 6 locations, 1 family. Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, 1-800-524-4447. If you're catching some waves or just playing in the yard, it is important to protect yourself. You may not feel the sun's heat, but UV rays can still damage your skin even in cloudy weather. Blue Lizard Sunscreen, recommended by pharmacists and dermatologists nationwide. Our SPF 30-plus formulations use only the highest quality ingredients for broad spectrum protection. As a reminder to protect yourself, our bottle turns blue when UV light is present. Blue Lizard, we've got you covered.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
Live at the Tom Miller Sports Show. Glad to have you with us here. Let's tell you about the picking panel. You have until tomorrow night to pick, and we've got to update this. Jerry McNeil of Elizabethton won week before last. Last week's winner, a young lady came in and won $25. Brenda Byram out of Elizabethton went 8 for 10 on the picking panel show. Just go to TomTaylorSports.com/football. Week 4, Jerry McNeil of Elizabethton. Week 5, Brenda Byron from Elizabethton. Week 1, Eugene Jeffers from Greenville. Week 2, Tracy Clark from Kingsport. Week 3, Tony Briggs from Watauga. Week 4, Jerry McNeil from Elizabethton. And week 5 was Brenda Byram. She went 8 for 10 last week. She wins herself $25. And so we will make sure she gets that, obviously, and be ready to go. Let's take a look again at the picking panel for this week. Here are the games you're picking. And so all you got to do is go to TomTaylorSports.com/football. And there it will be. It's very simple to do. And all you got to do is just tell us who you think is going to win, and the points. Not interested in points. We just want you to tell us again who you think is going to win in the ball games. West Virginia, Texas Christian at TCU. Miami and Tallahassee to battle Florida State. I'm telling you, that's a trap game for the for the Hurricanes on Saturday at Doak Campbell Stadium in Tallahassee. LSU, Ed Orgeron, under the gun after laying an egg against Troy, 24-21 in Baton Rouge. First non-conference loss at Baton Rouge and Tiger Stadium since 2000, 49 straight games. They're not happy down in Bayou Bingo land. So he's got to win at Florida on Saturday, I would think, because the heat's on him. He has a $12 million buyout. So they get rid of this guy. Don't cry too many tears. You'll have a $12 million buyout. Alabama at Texas A&M. That's also on the picking panel. You picking the Aggies in the upset or Alabama to roll on the road at College Station? Kevin Sumlin, their coach, under the gun. Also, you have the Battle of Michigan. Michigan State at Michigan and the Big House in Ann Arbor. That's the 5 college picks. West Virginia, Texas Christian. Miami at Florida State. LSU at Florida. Alabama, Texas A&M. Michigan State at Michigan. The high school picks this week. Hardin Valley at Science Hill. Dobbins been playing host to Farragut. Johnson County at Happy Valley on Friday night. A couple of ranked teams. Conk County at Tennessee High and Crockett at Cherokee. Those are the 5 schools to pick. All you have to do, again, is simply go, as we said, to the Magic. I'll show it to you one more time here. The pick and panel page. Boom. TomTaylorSports.com/football. There it is. And good luck. You have until tomorrow night at midnight to submit your entries. And after that, of course, football's on Friday night for high school. And so there you go. So, Lord have mercy. I see that today. He's brought the Carter County Mafia with him. Look at him. Tell you what, I may take that hat right off his head. That's all I listen to now is Jason Love, and he's awesome.
He is great, isn't he?
I was listening to his Christmas album or CD in the car driving to West Virginia the other day. So we're in the house. My man Hosey's in the house too. I ain't seen him in the Coons age. So let's go ahead and get this. Where's my man out here? We've got him in, ready to go, and that would be LS3, which doesn't mean anything to you folks, but there he is. Greg Salyer. Let's get him on camera with the Major League Baseball update here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. And look at him. He's all dressed up, looking sharp. ZZ Top sings about a sharp-dressed man. There he is. How you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm great, Tom. How are you?
Good. How about that start of the Major League Baseball playoffs? Pretty exciting.
Wow, that was. You know, I had been traveling, and I got back home, and we turned the TV on, and it was the bottom of the first, just getting ready to start. And so I missed the top of the first, so I missed the 3 runs the Twins scored. But then I saw the 3 that the Yankees scored in the bottom of the first, and wow, some kind of game. I mean, when both starters throw a combined 2 1/3 innings, you know, that's some game. So it's going to be an offensive game for sure. When you have
Luis
that
Severino faced 6. He's gone after 6 batters, recorded 1 out. Before he left, he allowed 3 runs on 4 hits and a walk, including 2 home runs. One by Brian Dozier and one by Eddie Rosario. So Santana lasted a little longer, not much. Wasn't much better, the starter for the Twins. He allowed a pair of home runs, one of those being to the Judge. He gave up 4 runs over 2 innings of work, so the bullpens got him the victory, and so the Yankees move on to battle the Indians.
Yeah, you know, it was some key game. I'll tell you, David Robertson was really the key to that game for the Yankees last night. I mean, he came in, had the longest outing of his major league career, and just showed what he can do. I mean, you know, this is his second time around with the Yankees. You know, he pitched well for them before when he played for them. They went back and got him again just for this type of situation, I think. And he showed that he can be the Andrew Miller maybe of this postseason.
It's going to be a heck of a ball game when Cleveland gets ready with the Yankees. I understand Kluber is not going to start game 1, so the Yankees get a little bit of a reprieve, but not much because you know he's out there. He's kind of like the white elephant in the room. You know he's coming, right?
Yeah, game 2, he's going to be there. You know, it's kind of interesting. Trevor Bauer does get the game 1 start for Cleveland, and there's been a lot of questions about that. And you know, and if in some way the Yankees did pull off a win of that series, you know, people would be questioning, I think, that move all along. But you know, he's trying to keep Corey Kluber on his 5 days rest, keep him in his proper rotation, and you know, it makes sense to me. I know when a pitcher is used to pitching every 5 days, if you throw him out there on the 4th day, it can mess him up, and I think he wants to keep things going. And if you think about it too, in his last 11 decisions, Trevor Bauer's 10-1. So you know, he's nothing to sneeze at, and the Yankees think they can do something against him perhaps, and maybe they can. But you know, he's a pretty solid pitcher as well.
Dozier's home run, by the way, the first time a batter opened the first postseason game with a tater. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And then Judge, his home run, became the first Yankee rookie to do that since Shane Spencer did it back in 1998 at the Divisional Series, and the 3rd overall, the first being Elston Howard in the '55 World Series. So
yeah,
cool stuff.
Yeah. They showed that last night on the game, and it was very interesting. to see that take place.
Elston Howard. I had a wiffle ball one time. Wasn't autographed Elston. You know, you get in a little box.
Oh, yeah.
Had one had Pete Rose, one had Elston Howard on it, and I didn't know Elston Howard from Adam's House guy. Anyway, pretty cool. So, Twins, by the way, dropped their 13th consecutive playoff game. 10 of those have been against the Yankees. So they get back next year, the guy says, hey, let's fix it. They can't play the Yankees. The Yankees own them. So by virtue of winning, the Yanks will now play the Indians. That series begins on Thursday. The Yankees and Indians played 7 times during the regular season. Indians winning 5 out of the 7. So the Yankees were outscored by 11 runs overall, averaged only just under 3 runs per game. So the Indians obviously owned them in the regular season.
Yeah, they did. And, you know, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. The Yankees rotation, you know, with the starter last night going a third of an inning, you know, I thought that was going to be devastating to them. They made it into a bullpen game. They didn't bring in another starter, which I thought they might have to do that. That's what Minnesota ended up doing with Barrios, and they brought him in to pitch, and you know, he ended up getting the loss in the game. But the Yankees are going to have Sonny Gray going in Game 1. It looks like CC Sabathia in Game 2, Tanaka in Game 3, and you know, and I guess then Severino in Game 4, if it's necessary. So, you know, that's pretty decent. And you know, I like Cleveland's chances, though. I think in that series.
We're talking to Greg Salyers here on the screen. The Major League Baseball Update does a phenomenal job every week, and we are anxiously waiting to see. By the way, I was driving Sunday. I got up and I could hear the game during the day, and I heard the final inning of the Reds beating the Cubs. I heard Marty and the Cowboy wrapping up the season, and you just had just a tinge of sarcasm. Did you listen? Did you hear what they said?
I did not hear it.
Okay.
No.
Well,
no.
Here's what they said. So Cowboy, and they're going through it. So you know, we're getting ready for 2018. Said, want to thank our family and thank hanging out with you guys. He said, you know, we'll take some time off with family, and then we'll get ready for 2018. And Marty says, if we have to. So,
yeah.
He said, we'll be in good year. He said, March the 29th, we'll open up the regular season against the Nationals. He said, we'll see what kind of changes, if any. And he said there's been some surprising changes and no changes already for the Reds. I know he's talking about Prime Price. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, anyway, Reds, I got a chance to hear Marty Brenneman, the Hall of Fame announcer. For my money, he's the best, and so he wrapped up the season, and so did the Reds. National League wild card tonight, you've got the Rockies and the Diamondbacks. A couple of guys up for Manager of the Year, Bud Black and Torey Lovullo. You say Lovullo or Lavella?
Lavello, I think.
I've heard both, so we'll go with Lavella. So Lavella and Bud Black, a couple of managers. And what do you think about tonight, the Rockies and the Diamondbacks in Arizona?
You know, there's 4 guys in this game that any one of those 4 could be MVP, really, if you think about it. You know, Blackman or Arenado for the Rockies. I don't know that J.D. Martinez has played in the National League long enough, but he's put up the numbers for sure. And, of course, Goldschmidt with Arizona. So, you know, the pitching matchup kind of intrigues me as well. Zach Greinke, guy definitely is one of the reasons that Arizona is where they are and deserves to be there. He's the name pitcher. Of course, for Colorado, a guy named John Gray is getting the start, and somebody that a lot of people have never heard of. But if you think about, you know, where he's come from, then maybe we should have heard of him. You know, a first-round draft pick, number 3, I believe, overall when he was drafted, and has you know, moved his way up. He's a very hard-throwing pitcher. And by the way, Paul Goldschmidt is 0 for 11 with 5 strikeouts against him in his career. So, you know, so I guess we could say, okay, does he own Paul Goldschmidt, or is Paul Goldschmidt due to do something against him? Yeah, it could be one or the other. So I'm anxious to see what happens in this game. I don't think it's going to be a game like we saw last night with 6 runs scored in the first inning. But could be, and I think we will see enough offense to make this game really exciting tonight.
Coming up bottom of the hour, Joe Vento joins us from the Johnson City Press talking East Tennessee State Buccaneer football's homecoming on Saturday against Robert Morris. Also, basketball practice has started. Also, if you're interested for the Lady Bucks, want to do a quick plug right here while Greg catches his breath. Coming up, Brittany Zell will be the head coach of the Lady Bucks, will be the guest speaker for the Fellowship of Christian Athlete Banquet coming up on Tuesday, October the 17th at the Holiday Inn here in Johnson City. If you're interested in getting tickets, it's a fun night. We were there last year. Again, 306-4897, the number to call. Interested in being there. There'll be also testimonials from local athletes and coaches as well. And so Brittany will be there. The head coach of Lady Bucks is the guest speaker. And, of course, basketball practice has started. We'll talk to Joe about that. And football and the other fall sports going on at East Tennessee State University. Last week you made a great point about the Twins. These guys lost over 100 games last year. They came back, obviously, got into the wild card playoff. They're out for the season. But they didn't really do a whole lot of personnel changes. I did not realize that you told me. The Twins basically had the same team intact a year ago. They lost 100 games. This year they got to the wild card playoff.
Yeah, the big difference, I think, for them, if you could say a big difference, was Jason Castro, the catcher. That was really the only major difference they had in their team. And, and I think Paul Molitor will probably be up for manager of the year in the American League after the job he did this year with that same team that he had the year before that lost 100 games. So, and the interesting thing is Paul Molitor does not have a contract for 2018 yet. Neither he nor Joe Girardi have contracts for 2018, so anxious to see what happens with that. Personally, I think both of those guys should get signed back with their teams. But
Paul, if you're listening, call Cincinnati. Call Walt Jockety and say, "Hey, Walt, I'm available." So Molitor is unsigned for next year.
He is unsigned for next year. I imagine we'll be hearing in a few days that the Twins are going to have reached out to him and locked him up for a year or two at least. But I would say with the job he did this year, he deserves more than a one-year contract. A one-year contract, it shows that you don't have any confidence in a guy. But I would say he'll get 2 or 3, maybe 4 years after the job he did this year in Minnesota.
Well, this time next week, we will be in the midst of the hot and heavy, the playoffs. So break them down for me. Let's start the American League. Yankees, Indians, and the Astros, Red Sox. Who do you like?
Yeah, the Yankees, Indians. You know, the Indians have been super hot, and they have proven that they are perhaps the odds-on favorite team in the American League to be in the World Series. I like the Indians. The Yankees had to expel a lot of energy last night just to get there to play the Indians. So it's kind of a good thing, I guess, now, unless your team's one of the wild card teams, that there is your team has to do something to get to the playoffs, to get to that team, and they had to burn some pitching last night, and so Cleveland. I think Cleveland's got an advantage there, so I like Cleveland over the Yankees. I'm real interested to see this game Thursday afternoon between the Red Sox and the Astros. Chris Sale against Justin Verlander. That's going to be a great game to watch because I have a feeling one of those guys is not going to pitch
up to par.
I think one of those guys is going to falter sometime in that game, and that's going to be the difference.
Well, Sales has kind of stumbled along the last half of the season, particularly the last month and a half, as have the Red Sox. They didn't really finish strong. I wouldn't say they backed into the title, but they didn't take it they didn't grab it by the throat and take it, but they're there. Red Sox and the Astros have the home field advantage. That's a best of 5, right?
Right, and Justin Verlander, he's been lights out since he came over to Houston.
Yes.
I mean, he has really shown that they did a great job in going out and getting him at the deadline there, and I don't think they could have asked for more than what they've gotten out of him. So, I think Houston probably will come out on top in that series. I think it's going to be a good, hard-fought series. I'm excited about seeing it because I think it's going to be very exciting.
And the Red Sox, I wouldn't say flattered or flitter, but they didn't really wow me too much. And the National League, Rockies, Diamondbacks tonight. That winner gets the Dodgers. On the other side, the bracket has been set. Nationals and the Cubs. What do you think about that series?
Yeah, I don't think the Cubs are the same team they were last year. They definitely don't have the dominant pitching that they had last year. They tried to do something about that. They went out and got Quintana, which was a good move for them. I'm anxious to see what's up with Scherzer. He left his last start with an apparent injury, but I think they were just being more cautious than anything with him. he could be key to that series for sure. But I like the Nationals. I think I'll be surprised if the Cubs can pull that one off. They have not been as impressive this year as they were last year. And, I think with Bryce Harper back, the Nationals are pretty strong now with a lot of their guys off the disabled list. And I think they've just been waiting for that. And I think it's going to be the Nationals maybe in 5 games. I think that's going to go a while.
The Dodgers, such a dominant team for probably 3/4 of the season, really stumbled down the stretch. They will, of course, play the winner of the wild card game tonight between the Rockies and the Diamondbacks. The Dodgers got enough in the tank to get this thing turned around and win it.
We're going to have to see which Dodger team shows up.
Yep.
Is it the Dodger team of the first half of the season, or that team in August that just barely won a couple of games in the entire month? I mean, they we were talking about them possibly breaking the record for most wins all time, and they fell 14 games short of that. So, they. I don't know. I mean, I think it's going to be interesting to see. If it comes down to the Dodgers and the Rockies, I like the Dodgers. I have a feeling, though, that if Arizona wins this game tonight, that they could be a thorn in the Dodgers' side. I think they could maybe pull an upset. They've got the pitching. J.D. Martinez has been on fire his last 25 games. He batted .398 with 16 home runs. And, I'll take that anytime.
Ooh, yeah.
So, like I said, if he was had been in the National League all season, I think he would definitely be up for MVP.
There you go. That's our buddy. Again, Greg Sire, the Major League Baseball update. So the stage is set. This is what you wait for. Since spring training gets good now. And that matchup, Sale and Verlander, woo, that's going to be a dandy. And then Kershaw will be on the mound for the Dodgers starting later on this week. You've got the Cubs, the Nationals, and the Cubs pitching staff a little lackluster. The defending World Series champs until proven otherwise. You got Scherzer and Strasburg in the Nationals. So Bryce Harper's back for Washington. So this is if you're a baseball purist, man, this is the time of year, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I love this time of year. It's almost, I don't know. I mean, I have mixed feelings because I love the regular season, but then, when you get into playoffs, it's so exciting. And then when that last out is made in the World Series, you're kind of like celebrating with the team that just won it, but then again, it's like, oh man, no baseball till February.
Yeah. I started to call you the other day because I knew you were really tore up. I almost could sense if I called you could hear the tears through the phone when the Cardinals got eliminated. So I thought, man, I don't even want to call him today because he just went. He's having a bad day.
The rumors are that the Cardinals are going to get rid of a few guys. They got abundance of outfielders, and sounds like Randall Grichuk may be on the trade block. So we'll see what happens there.
What's going on in the church house this week?
This Sunday morning, we're going to be looking. Well, a lot of things have been going on in our world, and the way I describe it is we're in a mess. We're just in a mess. So the title of my sermon Sunday morning is "How We Got in This Mess," and we're going to be looking at Genesis and then go to the book of Romans and see what God's Word has to say about that. Sunday night, we have a very special guest. Larry Stamm is going to be with us, and he is going to be doing a presentation called Christ in the Feast of Tabernacles. And great guy, and we're excited to see that. Larry's a Messianic Jew, and he knows his thing about the Feast of Tabernacles, and he is going to show us how through that feast we can see Jesus all throughout. So we're really excited about having that service Sunday night as well.
I'm not going to steal your thunder, but it's pretty simple. You take the Lord out of our society, you get what you pay for, right?
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, it ain't rocket science. When you take him away and don't look to him, don't want anything to do with him,
yeah,
real no surprise. So, anyway, great stuff. Take this little fella and feed him, too. He looks so puny.
Okay, you want me to feed him, too? I'll do it.
Yeah, feed him.
Okay.
He just looks undernourished and puny. I don't know what he's going to be when he grows up. He's kind of willowy. Reminds me of Ebb off Green Acres. Lanky.
Or Barney Fife, maybe.
That's it. He looks like Barney. Andy, it's big, Andy. It's big. He's therapeutic. I was watching Andy. Therapeutic.
Oh, yeah, therapeutic.
Oh, yeah, good stuff. Therapeutic. Take a quick break. We'll be right back. Joe Avento is waiting in the wings to talk Buck Sports next year. Came off the golf course to join me. How about that? Appreciate that. He'll join us next. Thanks to Greg. And We'll take a break right after this. Show number 607. By the way, the countdown to Christmas, if you care, most don't. 81 days from today. We'll take a break. We'll be right back on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at FCA.org.
It's Chevy Truck Month, Take 2 at Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City. The savings and selection of over 600 new Chevys to choose from are at an all-time high. 1500 All-Star Crew, $11,000 off. 1715 All-Star Double Cab, $10,000 off. 18 Equinox LT, $5,000 off. 17 Traction Traverse, $5,000 off. Shop us online 24/7 and remember our Saturday parts and service hours. Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City, where we leave you asking, how do they do that?
At American Import Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the 8 areas of your vehicle that takes constant continuing education is the air conditioner on your vehicle.
Well, you would think that AC would be a simple one, but it's getting to be a lot bigger than just AC. It's the management of the system, not just AC, but heat and everything. It's a lot more computer controlled than it used to be. It used to be just a little button on the dash that you pushed. Now there's all kinds of electronics involved in that. Braking systems used to be fairly simple. Now some of the newer vehicles, you have to have a computer to actually operate the braking system to make sure that it's okay after you've worked on it. Computer controlled of the engine is becoming very important. There's a lot to that. Each one of these areas, the technology has just tripled and quadrupled in the last few years. It's hard to keep up. You really need to stay in the books and know what's going on with them.
American Import Auto Repair, Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
Your life is always changing. You never know what shape it will take, or how your financial needs might change. But if we talk about your investments and how they can provide for you and your family, the future becomes clear. At Wells Fargo Advisors, we believe conversation leads to financial clarity. Let's start a conversation today.
Back with the Tom Taylor Sports Show. We are live here again at Chick-Fil-A, the Crossings in North Johnson City. Look there, working hard. There's my man Joe Vento. Look at him. I like the beard, man. It's looking good. Getting a little salt and pepper going. So.
Yeah, well, 55 years old.
It happens, don't it?
It's going to be more salt than pepper pretty soon.
Well, you got it, brother. It used to be pepper, now it's salt. But you still got a little mix, looking good. Gosh, where do we start? Let's start with golf. East Tennessee State Golf Coach Fred Warren. What's going on?
Well, ETSU has a former golfer that's spent the year on the PGA Tour, Seamus Power, and he had quite a good year. He made a lot of cuts, made almost $700,000. He finished 130th on the money list. The top 125 made the playoffs and get to come back next year. And so he was just out that, but he got a second chance through the web.com playoffs. He had 4 events to finish in the top 25 of those 4 events, money-wise, to keep his tour card for next year. After the fourth event was over, he kept his PGA Tour playing privileges by $287. He finished 25th on that money list.
That's awesome.
And he's going to be back on the PGA Tour, which starts this week in California. And I'm scheduled to talk to him in about 2 hours. So if you want to know any more what he has to say, I don't know yet. We'll have to read the Johnson City Press tomorrow.
That's awesome. Made it by $287.
You know, there's hundreds of millions of dollars out there on tour.
Wow.
And you think about it, it really came down to one putt. The last day, if he would have missed one putt that he'd made, he would probably have been able to play a little bit on the tour, but he wouldn't have had full privileges on the tour. And now he can set his schedule for next year. He's going to be a member of the tour. So
pretty cool stuff. And again, that just solidifies, not that it needs to be, what a great job over the years Fred Warren's done as the coach at East Tennessee State. This guy's phenomenal.
He turns out a lot of players that go on to play, some of them play in Europe, some of them have won on the PGA Tour. Yeah, he sure does. And sometimes they surprise you. Sometimes they're guys that you didn't expect to go on and be really good as a pro, and they do. So you just never know with that game.
Donald Joe Vento, you see on the screen, East Tennessee Sports, the Johnson City Press football team went down, didn't win it, but I felt like they made a pretty good showing against Furman. Tough place to play. Haven't been down there myself doing ball games, and crowd gets into it. Tough place to win. Didn't win. Good showing. Come back home for homecoming. But let's talk about the Furman game. What do you think?
They just couldn't stop them. I think Furman scored touchdowns on their last 7 possessions. That's hard to win when you're doing that. ETSU played with them offensively somehow. It was kind of smoke and mirrors because they couldn't run the ball and they couldn't stop the pass rush. Yet somehow they managed to score 35 points, have a quarterback throw for 434 yards, which was a school record, and have all kinds of receivers with 100 yards. And this quarterback, Austin Herink, I tell you, every week he's good when he has time. Well, this last Saturday, he was good when he didn't have time. He got sacked 6 times, and he got hit probably 15 other times to where we weren't sure he's going to be able to get up. Just kept getting up and completing pass after pass after pass.
Yeah, Coach Bush said the offensive line's got to fill. They got to fill up those holes because they were getting shoved around a little bit up on that front line.
Oh, and 2 things. Once they realized ETSU was going to throw it, they started bringing more guys. They were blitzing. I saw 8 guys come at one time, and when you don't have any time, you're not going to complete those. But something kind of cool happened at the end of the first half. ETSU had the ball around midfield. They're going to try a Hail Mary, just a couple seconds left. Furman lined up 4 guys on the goal line, let them complete the pass, and then they're going to come up and get them. So ETSU started running around doing the laterals back and forth, and they'd run up 20 yards and run back 20 yards. It was a funny play. When the game was over, they handed out the official box score, and they said we have to make an amendment to that because we got to figure out what exactly happened on that play. They had to look at the film, and, well, for example, Vincent Lowe, when the box score came out, had 123 yards receiving. By the time they decided he had lost so many yards going backwards on that play, he finished with 105.
Wow.
Some other guys gained yards on the play, but he was unfortunate enough to have caught a lateral and run backwards before giving it up. So all those yards came off of his personal stats, which I've never seen that happen before. No, it's really interesting to hear them discuss it and go about doing it. So.
It's interesting. We're talking again to our buddy Joe Vento, covering the East Tennessee State sports. Back home, homecoming on Saturday. Weather looks like it's going to be really almost perfect. Maybe low to mid 70s, and a little bit cooler. A lot of sunshine. Should be a full house. Homecoming, new stadium. A lot of folks come back into town for homecoming, and they're playing Robert Morris. What's the story on them?
Well, 2 years ago, ETSU went up to Pittsburgh. Robert Morris is in Moon Township, which is a suburb of Pittsburgh, and ETSU could have won the game with 3 minutes left. They were winning 9-6. They couldn't get it in the end zone, but they kept kicking field goals. And here's a common theme: Robert Morris' pass rush was harassing Austin Herink that day. And with 3 minutes and 18 seconds left, Robert Morris scored a touchdown to take the lead. Then they scored another one to make the score a little bit more lopsided than the game was. That was the one game against an FCS team that ETSU felt like they should have won that first season. They just weren't ready to win, but that was one they could have had. So they're kind of, I think they think in the back of their mind they got one coming this week, or they have some payback anyway.
So Robert Morris comes down homecoming on Saturday, and again, then they get right back into some pretty deep water for the rest of the regular season. So Buck football in high gear. Should be a great crowd. Again, as we said, homecoming's always bringing the folks back home from out of state, out of town for homecoming to rekindle those relationships. So should be a lot of fun for that. Then the basketball team started practice. Tell me about that.
Well, they did. They started Sunday morning and got a first chance to see some of the new guys. I'll tell you what, the freshman Bo Hodges looks good. High school, I just think this kid just came out of high school. He's really put together. He looks solid. The 6'10 kid from Serbia, Mladen Armas, I think he's going to play quite a bit. That's 2 freshmen that are going to play on a team under a coach who hasn't brought in that many freshmen. But then again, Steve Forbes told me making it to the NCAA tournament this past season has gotten him into the living rooms of a lot more high school players, good high school players, ones that he would want to recruit than he's been able to before. So that's good. One bad thing, there was one player sitting out Saturday, Jerome Rodriguez, junior college player from the Dominican Republic, who was expected to be a really good player. He was the player of the year in the Panhandle Conference last year in junior college. He's out indefinitely with I think he had it's a shoulder injury. We're not sure exactly what it is, but they're really not allowed to tell us too much. But Steve Forbes told me that coming into the season, they ranked their players 1 through 17, and he was number 2. So they were expecting an awful lot. He's 6'7", 225-pound power forward. And if he needs surgery, he's going to be done for the year. They're not sure yet, but he's out, quote, indefinitely.
That is going to be a big blow.
So that's kind of a downer. But that being said, boy, they look good. They're athletic. They started doing these drills just full speed all over the place. They're intense. They're athletic. And with Forbes coaching them, I wouldn't be surprised if they made another run at the Southern Conference again this year, even with 10 new players.
On the other side of the coin, this young lady's going to be the guest speaker of the FCA banquet coming up. Brittany Zell and the Lady Bucks are off and running their practice too. There you see, that's coming up on October the 17th at the Holiday Inn here in Johnson City. She's the guest speaker of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes for the fundraising dinner with our buddy Steve McCauley. And so the Lady Bucks are up and running too for practice. And what's the story on the Lady Bucks right now?
Well, let's get something straight first. They don't like to be called the Lady Bucks anymore.
Oh.
They are no longer Lady Bucks.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They are just Bucks.
Oh, really?
I'm sorry to be the one to tell you that. we find out the hard way every time we slip up and forget about it and put it in the paper. If you've not seen Brittany Izell speak, I suggest you go to this thing because she's a very dynamic speaker and she's very interesting to listen to and to have a conversation with. So that'll be a fun event. Tiana Tartar, that's the 2 words you got to say when you're talking about that team. She's coming off one of the greatest games in ETSU women's program history in the tournament. I forget the numbers exactly, but it was she had like 46 points or something.
She had a triple-double, didn't she?
Yeah, it was something crazy, and then came down to a last-second three-pointer, and they didn't pull it off. But yeah, she's a big-time player. So it'd be interesting to see what she does this season. She's a local girl too. It's always fun to watch.
Yep, so all that coming up again, Bucks, and again, the football game on Saturday for homecoming is Robert Moore's basketball teams are getting ready, both the men's Bucks and the Buccaneer, well, how do you say it? You can't
women's
say
team, ETSU women's team, that's what we call them.
Women Bucks?
Well, we just call them the Bucks. They're just the Bucks. The uniforms just say Bucks now. They don't say Lady Bucks. And they made a conscious decision about 2 years ago to do that. In fact, none of the teams at ETSU anymore go by the Lady nickname.
So the Lady Bucks ain't Lady Bucks, they're the Bucks.
They're just the Bucks. Down in at UT, they brought the Lady Vols nickname back.
Yes, they did.
They just had that for basketball, and they dropped it for all the other teams. Well, they just brought it back. I've not talked to anybody at ETSU to see if they're going to follow form, but I doubt it because they don't like to make their decisions based on what happens in Knoxville.
Yeah.
So
there you go. I understand that.
I wasn't scolding you, Tom. I was just telling you what they told me. You call them whatever you want.
I'm just like, Well, I'm trying to think how you would say.
It's just when we put a
women's
headline.
Bucks, you
If
can't
we
say
put a
that.
headline that just says Bucks, we think it's confusing.
It is confusing
because people think the Bucks.
It's not sexist. It's
So
just
we try to
confusing.
do some indication somewhere on a subhead or something inset into the copy to let you know that it's women. Sometimes we don't do a good job of that, and it's confusing. But that's the way they want it. So
the men's Bucks and the lady Bucks. I mean, I don't understand the problem, but okay, you don't need it. You're just following the rules. Gotcha.
we just follow what they want. A lot easier to tell them apart in a quick headline, though.
Well, yeah, if I'm picking up the paper that says the Bucks lose at Furman, well, then I got to read the story, which maybe that's what they want, that you are forced to read.
They don't want that.
Okay.
I don't know.
Anyway,
Oh,
I may
well.
just keep calling them Lady Bucks. And
You do it. Let them call you. Do it at this thing and see what happens. Actually, what's funny about it is after we caught some heck about it one time, I was listening to the radio and I heard, "This is Brittany Izell, coach of the Lady Bucks, and you're listening to blah 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 station." I called Mike White right away and I said, "What's this?" He said, "That was an old promo. That's not supposed to be running."
Oh, okay. All right.
And I called them on it too, just to keep them honest.
All right, got a couple of topics. I'm going to hit him with before I let him go. Here again, we're talking to our buddy Joe Vento. Tennessee football. A, is Butch. This is a softball question. A, is Butch Jones in trouble? B, if you think he is, do you let him go now? C, or do you wait the end of the season? And D, who do you go get?
Well,
How about that
I'll tell you what.
question?
I don't have that many opinions on that, but I have friends who do. So I'll tell you what they say. I have my certain friend from Australia who I just came off the golf course with. He's been here for 22 or 24 years, so he's a UT fan. He won't watch him again until Butch is gone, and he used to plan his whole weekends around watching the Vols. He didn't watch last week's game. He will not watch him till he's gone. He wants him gone now. He said they weren't even coached this bad under Derek Dooley. He wants Chip Kelly to be the coach tomorrow. He doesn't want to wait. He wants to get a head start. And, I mean, just from what I see, I don't think he's a lone wolf in his thinking. I don't think it ever does a program good to get rid of the coach during mid-season. But that's the way for the players in that program. Maybe to keep the fans happy, that might happen. Because at a certain point, if there's a revolt on your hands, you got to do something to keep them kind of quiet, you know. And like I said, I don't follow that much because I'm busy with ETSU, but certainly seems close to a fan revolt to me. How about you? What do you think?
I would think so. I mean, they're out of there in droves when they went 41-0. I mean, it was a mass exodus down there. So, yep. See what I don't. My problem with this whole thing is if you run him off, which is what they want to do, buy him out, gets $9 million. So you're in the whole $9 million instead of paying him $4 million to be the head coach. But then, if you fire him right now, I mean, he came out last night and said every position's up for grabs for South Carolina. Nothing's guaranteed. We're going to start from scratch.
Well, I wonder if he's talking about head coach too.
Well, well, Birchfield said the same thing. So, who was our guest previous, one of the fellow staff members with my man Joe. So, if you can him now, who's on first? Who's going to be the interim coach? You take your directives from him, but it's a short-term situation. Then you look at the recruiting situation where every other school's going to be out there going, don't go to Tennessee because they don't know who's going to be on first. You want to come and play for me because we got a coaching staff.
That's why you don't get rid of them until you have somebody ready.
Yeah.
And they got to be ready to come in the next day.
And then the coaches that are out there, the ones that aren't currently coaching would be a Les Miles, a Bob Stoops. Those are the two jump out at me. See, Kelly's coaching Notre Dame, is he not? Or is he not?
You know what? I always get the two Kellys confused. I said Chip
Brian
Kelly.
Kelly and Chip Kelly.
No, Brian Kelly coached Notre Dame. Chip Kelly's free right
Chip
now.
Kelly's free.
Chip's the one that went from Oregon to the NFL.
Stoops is free from Oklahoma, and Les Miles got canned from LSU last year. Of course, he's 64, 65 years old. I don't know if that matters.
Les Miles would be fun to have.
Yeah.
He's just a fun guy.
Yeah. So, but if you go get those guys, or, you know, I've even heard Fulmer's down there in an administrative position, you know, ask him to put the whistle and the cap back on for 4 or 5 games. But
yeah, but like you said, if you get an interim, that just prolongs the whole process and recruiting, and people don't know who's going to coach when they're making up their mind where they're going to go.
Yeah.
They're not going to come to Tennessee.
No.
It's going to set them back years. No, I think if you get rid of them, you got to have your full-time guy in place
Ready
immediately.
to go. Yeah. And just kiss the rest of this season. Just take your lumps. And although the talent apparently is down there, it's just not being utilized the way, I guess. I keep hearing everybody says he can recruit, but he can't coach what he's got. So.
Well, you know what's funny is when he came to Tennessee, they said up at Cincinnati he could coach, but he wasn't that great a recruiter. So when he comes here, it's just flipped.
He recruits, but he can't coach.
Yeah.
All right, so Butch is gone, may be gone, may not be gone. All right, the basketball recruiting scandal. Here's the part I like. You've got the family of this kid. They paid him $100,000, Brian Bowen, to go to Louisville. Patino has already been, he's gone, but they've already come out and said they've got dialogue where he was talking to him saying, you need more money. I said, Philip, former Lane Kiffin, you're talking about a revolt to come back to. Tim just puts it, what about Lane or Philip? Former, maybe. Lane Kiffin, I would think you would just have all kinds of problems bringing him back.
Oh, there's not a chance that'll happen.
No.
I think that's just trying to stir something up there.
While he's enjoying his Chick-Fil-A salad. Yep, so.
Never trust a note handwritten on a napkin.
So, the basketball scandal. Brian Bowen paid $100,000. Nobody comes forward. See, that's the part I have a problem with this. Where's the integrity? Where did mom and dad go? No, we can't do this. It's $100,000. They took the money. Now he's retained an attorney to get back on the team. Not the fact he took the money. They want him back on the team.
Yeah, well.
And so this thing continues to mushroom. And what's your take on the whole thing?
I think what's going to happen before the season starts, we're going to see a long list of players who are ineligible for taking this money.
And coaches.
Yeah, but I mean, the coaches, they're the ones that are going to get prosecuted. But I think what's really going to affect the game is some of these top players are just going to be told that they can't play, which really isn't going to bother them that much, because if they're worth getting $100,000 to play as a freshman, they're going to the NBA next year. Anyway, so
which is the goal for the shoe companies anyway.
They're going to leave the programs in shambles. And
I read the whole point of these. What they're doing is they go to Joe Vento, who's a hotshot ball player in Johnson City, and say, look, you go play for an Adidas school, here's $100,000. With the hopes, when you graduate or when you leave XYZ school, you go to the pros, Joe's going to sign a contract with me because he's worn my shoes all these years. So it's all about the money.
Yeah.
So, the ultimate goal is to get them to the NBA so they can make money off of them. You're exactly right. So.
I've read some interesting articles, though, questioning what about that whole process is illegal, is against federal law. I mean, it's the NCAA rules, but other than maybe trying to follow where the money goes, maybe some money laundering charges, but what about me giving you money to sign with me later is, I don't know if it's illegal. I'm not a lawyer, but I've read people questioning that. Maybe some of the things that happen are not illegal enough to send people to prison. Maybe they were saying the FBI was doing the NCAA's work, finding NCAA violations. I don't know. I did talk to Steve Forbes about it, and he really didn't want to say a whole lot, because coaches at that level, they're not recruiting the guys that are signing the big shoe contracts, and anything he said might have been misconstrued by another coach. So he basically didn't want to go on a record about anything. I tried to talk to him about, and I understood. He wasn't involved, directly involved in anything that we know, and anything he said could just maybe be misconstrued.
Let that sleeping dog lie, right?
I guess, yeah.
Right.
I asked him, I said, is every program having a discussion about this tonight? And he said, if you recruit like that, you are. So we left it at that.
Last question, let him go. Baseball playoffs. Who do you like right now?
Well,
your boys?
My late grandma was a Yankees fan, big time. I told you, she used to call me. She called me the next morning and said, did you watch this Yankees? She was from North Jersey, and she said, how about that Jeter? How about Jeter? It's a hit every time, she said.
How about that Jeter?
Oh, my gosh.
That's great.
Great. Even though I'm a Brewers fan, and they used to have the big rivalry with the Yankees in the AL East years ago, now they're in different leagues, so we can kind of coexist with the Yankees. So I'm pulling for the Yankees. I don't know what they have for the Indians. They're certainly the hottest team around, but after what the Yankees did last night, getting 26 out of 27 outs from relief pitchers, I guess anything's possible.
Oh, yeah. Both starters, Santana and Severino, were very ineffective the game.
Yeah, I know. It was something, wasn't it?
Yeah. Joe Vento, again, John City Press. What you working on? What are you going to be reading?
Well, tomorrow you'll be reading about Seamus Power, the ETSU golfer, and how what a close margin those guys work on to keep their privileges, because the difference between playing on the PGA Tour and the Web.com Tour, you could play the same amount of golf and win and put $500,000 more in the bank by playing with the big boys for those purses. So that's important.
Wow.
So, and then you'll know we'll have plenty of football coming up this weekend.
You got it. Are you hungry?
I am hungry.
Been chasing a little white ball today, so
yeah, it didn't go too well either. I think I probably did a little more walking than I should.
Well, you're handling it well. Didn't shoot the way you wanted, but you got a good disposition, I guess.
I guess.
do here, so there you go.
Yeah. No, I'm not a club thrower or anything like that.
Get you some Chick-Fil-A and Chick-Fil-A, and I'll see you next week or soon.
Okay,
right?
I'll talk to you Thursday night.
Thursday night, you're exactly right. Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview Show. He will preview the Bucks and Robert Morris. Forgot about that. That's tomorrow night. Lots going on this week.
Okay,
that's my man Joe Vento. A quick break. We'll be right back. We'll take a look at college football. Jump in there and talk about the top 25. Wave at him, Joe. There you go. So, good man. We'll be right back after this. Show number 607 of the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
Blue Lizard Australian Sunscreen originated in Australia, where sunscreen standards are the strictest in the world. Although our products are now manufactured here in the U.S., we continue to adhere to the most stringent Australian standards to offer the best in broad-spectrum sun protection. Blue Lizard, the brand most recommended by pediatricians and dermatologists. Our smart bottle turns blue in the presence of UV rays, reminding you to cover up. You bring the sun, Blue Lizard brings the magic.
It's Chevy Truck Month, Take 2 at Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City. The savings and selection of over 600 new Chevys to choose from are at an all-time high. 1500 All-Star Crew, $11,000 off. 1715 All-Star Double Cab, $10,000 off. 18 Equinox LT, $5,000 off. 17 Traction Traverse, $5,000 off. Shop us online 24/7 and remember our Saturday parts and service hours. Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City, where we leave you asking, how do they do that?
At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they treat thousands of patients each year dealing with diabetes and its effects. Diabetes overtaking our nation and leaving a path of destruction behind. Through wound care, office visits, and preventive care, they see most of the patients after a problem arises. Using diabetic footwear such as shoes and inserts, a great way to prevent or prolong skin breakdown and amputation. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they use only custom molds from patient mold inserts, which further ensure a great recovery, or better yet, prevents a wound from happening. They use custom molded shoes, bracing, custom inserts, and extra depth diabetic shoes to prevent wounds or other skin issues from beginning. Call today, 1-800-524-4447. 39 years, 6 locations, 1 family. Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, 1-800-524-4447.
Any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-Fil-A. Over 10 to choose from. Perfect for having the gang over to watch the big game, birthday parties, church get-togethers, backyard gatherings, everything from fruit trays to garden salad trays to nuggets and chicken strip trays. And for the sweet tooth, try the cinnamon cluster or chocolate chunk cookie tray. So you see, any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-Fil-A. Chick-Fil-A at the Crossings in North Johnson City.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at fca.org.
Tim Birchfield is stirring the pot over here. Got this lady riled up and said, we may bring back Lane Kiffin. She said, no, I want Butch. So there'll be a lot of people fired up they brought back Lane Kiffin. Goodness gracious sakes alive. Mr. Birchfield's stirring the pot over here as he's enjoying his. What kind of salad you got, big guy? What you eating? Market salad? a customized salad. There you go. Let's take a look at college football before we get out of here. Let's run down some of the stories happening today. Tennessee offensive lineman Vincel Boulware said he is leaving Tennessee football, intends to transfer. Again, after much prayer and consideration with my family, I've decided it's best for me to pursue other options away from Tennessee for the remainder of my collegiate career. He is a sophomore from Union City, Georgia. Played 3 games this season and made 1 start at left guard in the win over UMass. And so he will, again, leave immediately and transfer to another program. So Vincel Boulware, one of the big offensive linemen, a little thin out of the department anyway, moving on now from Tennessee football. On Saturday, Texas A&M will pay honor to Gene Stallings, perhaps the best-known football coach, being Alabama's coach, and the Crimson Tide won the national championship in '92. But in the state of Texas, he will always be known as the Texas A&M Aggie. Again, he played for the program from 1954 to 1956, served as coach from 65 to 71, and won the 1967 Southwest Conference Championship to celebrate his 50th anniversary of that championship team. The school will honor Gene Stallings and his players during the weekend game against Alabama this weekend. Also, the number 1967 will be painted on the end zones to commemorate the title. Sad story, he suffered a heart attack just last weekend. Gene Stallings did, but according to some folks, he was taken off a ventilator, expect to make a full recovery. Will be there on Saturday, and so Gene Stallings will be honored for the ball game Saturday when Alabama comes to town. After putting the butt whooping on Tennessee 41-0, Georgia still says there's a quarterback controversy. They get ready to battle Vanderbilt on Saturday. Again, Jacob Eason, who was Georgia's starting quarterback to begin the season, but had been out since hurting his knee early in the season opener, came into the game to relieve Jake Fromm. Eason only threw 1 pass, and it was incomplete, but Kirby Smart said the starting quarterback spot would be determined in practice this week, so it's not Fromm's for the taking. Fromm completing 59% of his passes this season, throwing for 734 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. And so he's been a perfect complement to Georgia's rushing attack. And so he's only averaging about 16 passes a game that he's throwing, but he's completing 60% of them. So anyway, they get ready to battle, as we said, at Vanderbilt on Saturday. Here is your top 25 college football. You have on Thursday night, tomorrow night, 17th ranked Louisville at number 24 North Carolina State in the ACC, both 4-1. On Saturday, number 2 Clemson hosting Wake Forest. Number 3 Oklahoma Boomer Sooner playing host to Iowa State. Number 4 Penn State will be at Northwestern. Georgia, as we said, 5th ranked Bulldogs, they can play. And they can flat get her done. They're playing at Vanderbilt on Saturday. Ole Miss will be at 12th ranked Auburn. 23rd ranked West Virginia Texas Christian. This ball game will show some of the 2 more high-powered offenses in the country coming up on Saturday. The Horned Frogs and the Mountaineers have the top 2 rushing offenses in the entire Big 12, which is saying something. TCU averages 232 a game. West Virginia averaging 231 yards of rushing per football game. West Virginia's total offense, nearly 595 yards a game, is 2nd in the nation. So West Virginia's quarterback Will Grier, the transfer from Florida, leads the Mountaineers 94 out of 144. 94 passes for 144 attempts through 4 games for over 1,300 yards and 13 touchdowns. Only 3 interceptions. And so Texas Christian and West Virginia happening coming up this weekend. West Virginia wants to run the ball with running back Justin Crawford. He has a chance to get meaningful yards on every snap. Crawford racked up 451 yards so far and 6 touchdowns for the Mountaineers on only 61 carries. The Texas Christian attack will be triggered by quarterback Kenny Hill, a transfer from Texas A&M, who has the 6th best completion percentage in the country. And in the Big 12, trails only Oklahoma's Baker Mayfield as the best quarterback in the Big 12 Conference. So they will be at it coming up 3:30 on Saturday. ESPN College Game Day will be there as well. 13th ranked Miami on the road at Tallahassee to battle the Seminoles of Florida State at 3:30 on Saturday. LSU at number 21 Florida, 3-2 LSU. The Gators at 3-1, 3:30 and the Swamp on Saturday. 21st ranked Notre Dame will be at North Carolina. 10th ranked Ohio State with a 4 o'clock kickoff at the Shoe in Columbus against Maryland, who's 3-1. The Buckeyes at 4-1. Southern Cal 4-1 playing host to Oregon State. Number 1 Alabama at 5-0 will be at Texas A&M at 4-1 at 7:15 on Saturday evening. 16th ranked Virginia Tech, the Hokies at 4-1 at Boston College, is 2-3. Michigan State at 3-1 will be at number 7 Michigan at 7:30 at the Big House on Saturday evening. Again, the Wolverines are at 4-0, of course, and number 7 of the country. 9th ranked Wisconsin will be at Nebraska. Badgers 4-0. The Huskers are at 3-2. 8 o'clock kickoff. 11th ranked Washington State at 5-0. The Cougars will be at Oregon, who are 4-1. A trap game for the Cougars. Also on Saturday, you've got 25th ranked Central Florida at Cincinnati. 20th ranked Utah playing host to the Stanford Cardinal. 6th ranked Washington, the Huskies at 5-0, hosting the California Golden Bears. And 19th ranked San Diego State will be at the University of Nevada in Las Vegas. That is your top 25 college basketball, or rather football. SEC football on Saturday. As we said, Alabama, Texas A&M, Arkansas will be at South Carolina, Columbia. Auburn hosting Ole Miss. Florida home to LSU. Georgia at Vanderbilt. Of course, Tennessee off this week. Mississippi State off this week as well. And again, the Commodores of Vanderbilt looking down the list here, hosting the Georgia Bulldogs in Nashville. And that's a look at your college football games involving top 25 teams here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. That's going to do it from here. We're going to wrap up the show. Big thanks again to Jeff Birchfield from the Johnson City Press. Also Greg Salyer of the Major League Baseball Update. And also big thanks to, got to throw out a big thank you to my man Joe Avento from the Johnson City Press as well. And also Heather Miller got it all started earlier in the show from right here at Chick-Fil-A. We're out of time. We sincerely thank you for yours. Back in the saddle tomorrow will be a Champion Chevrolet, a double dip tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be there from 11 to 1. And then tomorrow evening, the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview Show. Can't wait to do that. That'll be tomorrow. And before we get out of here, let's hear those two guys that co-host the show. That would be me and Dave Angie here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. I'm Tom Taylor, and you are
Dave Angie.
And we got coming up, it's a really cool, every Thursday, it's the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview Show. Get you ready for high school and college football every week. Every Thursday, you're going to be covering what for us?
Be looking at the Big East Conference.
Ooh, that would be Dobbinsville, Sciencefield, all those great football teams in that conference. Doug Fritz will be giving you the rest of the high school football picture every week. Then we got colleges covered. Who are we going to be covering?
We got ETSU. We have Tennessee. We have Virginia Tech.
All those. Carmichael's will be along to give us the big 5 games every week because it is a 5-star football preview show. So hope you'll join us every Thursday right here in the showroom of Champion Chevrolet. Dave and I will be co-hosting the Champion Chevrolet 5-star football preview. And then on top of all that, we're going to have a picking panel where you're going to match us against you and you against us, and I can't wait because they don't have a chance. You're going to go up against us. We're going to pick against you for some really cool prizes, and they don't have a chance, do they?
No chance at all. It's going to be fun times.
Oh, yeah. Putting toe to what?
Toe to the leather, man.
Toe to the leather,
Ready
man.
to go.
Ready to go. Can't wait. Again, join us every Thursday right here. It's a Maiden Voyage Cool Show, co-hosted by Dave Angie and myself. It's the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview coming up every Thursday right here from Champion Chevrolet on the Bristol Motor Mile in Johnson City. Can't wait to see you on the show. Tomorrow at 11 o'clock from Champion Chevrolet on the Bristol Motor Mile, Johnson City. Until then, as always, we will tell you, win or lose, Be a good sport. Thanks for watching show number 607 of the Tom Taylor Sports Show. So long, everybody.